The recorder is powered using 2 AA batteries. And to power on the unit, there's a switch on the side here. So I'm just going to push this down. You'll see we get the Olympus screen. Then it says, please wait. And then it loads to this folder screen where we can decide where we would like to record a file. On the front of the recorder, there's a menu button down here. I'm just going to push that. And then if you look at the screen, you have various options. So I'm just going to show you the key settings. So one, which you might want to adjust, is record mode. And you navigate the menu using these arrow keys, and then you have an OK button in the center to select an option. So if I look through record mode, the LS-10 can record in MP3 at various quality settings. It can also record in PCM, which is uncompressed audio, and it has a variety of different formats. And it also has Windows Media Audio, which I really wouldn't use. I find the quality is not so great. Okay, so we're just gonna choose an option. And if I keep looking through the menu settings, another setting which you might want to adjust is record level. So your choices are manual or auto. And I would strongly recommend choosing manual. The reason being that there's a record level wheel. This is a manual adjustment. So it's very easy to adjust the setting, which is one of the great features of this recorder, that there's so many hard buttons and wheels that it makes it very easy to adjust a lot of the settings on the fly. And the other setting which you may need to adjust is the memory select. So you have two choices. It can record onto the internal memory, or you could record onto an SD card. So right now I'm using the internal memory. If you wanted to put in an SD card, this is where the slot is. And I'm just gonna keep looking through, but I think that's pretty much it in terms of the main settings that you would want to adjust. Yeah, so that's it. So then to save our selections, you just hit menu again. So what I'm going to show you now is just how to record a basic track. Right now we're at that folder screen, so let me explain these different folders. There's 6 folders on the recorder. Folders A through E, you can record audio files onto. Each folder can record up to 200 files. And then the 6th file is music. You can't record into music, but what music is used for is to drag MP3s or WAV files onto the recorder, so you can use it something like an MP3 player. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose one of the folders to make a recording in. I've selected folder C, and I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so this brings us into folder C, and you can see that I've made a number of recordings in here. So I want to make a new recording, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the record button, and you'll see that it's flashing, which means that it's in record standby mode. So there's a few other settings which I'm going to adjust before I actually record a track. If I look on the right-hand side of the recorder, we have down here the low-cut filter, which is something that's handy to use if you're recording outside and there's a bit of a breeze. It can minimize that. But otherwise, I would try to avoid using the low-cut filter, because essentially what it does is it reduces the low end sounds on the recording. So you end up with less bass. And then we have another switch here, which is mic sensitivity low-high. So low mic sensitivity is great for doing interviews, particularly if you're holding the recorder, like let's say a few inches from someone's mouth. That's going to be the nicest, cleanest sound. But my mic high sensitivity is also very useful. That one I've found is very effective if you're recording, let's say, a room full of people in a meeting. Also, it does a good job with like very quiet sounds that have a lot of details, recording nature sounds outside. So right now I'm in a small room, but I'm not right next to the recorder, so I'm going to actually switch this one to the mic high sensitivity setting. And the last setting here is our record level. So I'm just going to look at the front of the recorder. And if you look on here, we see our levels. So if I were to adjust this wheel, you see how I can get a higher level sound, and if I reduce the record level, how I get nothing. So I'm just going to raise it back up till we have it at around -12, somewhere between -12 and -6. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the record button a second time, and you'll see that it turns solid orange. And what that means is that the track is actually recording. So now we're making a recording, and to stop recording, I'm going to push the stop button. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play back that track which we just recorded. On the left-hand side here we have a wheel. This is a speaker volume. There's 2 speakers on the back of the recorder. You also have the option of a headphone jack connecting headphones. So what I'm going to do to play back the track which I just recorded is I'm just going to hit the play button right here. And you'll see that it turns solid orange. And what that means is that the track is actually recording. So now we're making a recording. And to stop recording, I'm going to push the stop button. So there you go. Now let's say I didn't want to listen back to the track which I just recorded, but another track that I have recorded previously. In that case, what I'd do is I'd hit the list button down here, bottom right hand corner, and then using the arrow keys here, I can navigate my folders. So let's listen to something in music. Listen to this one.
eyes